Welcome back. On today's show, we'll talk about the Skies free agency, Las Vegas, Connecticut. We'll also talk about some free agency signings on the international side. Leïla Lacan, Janelle Salaün, Shaneice Swain, Holly Winterburn. We'll talk about all of that today. Let's get right into it.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are Locked On Women's Basketball. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. My name is Hunter Cruse. I'm your Saturday host covering the WNBA draft and prospect scouting. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Lincoln Shafer. Lincoln contributes to our draft coverage here at The Next and Locked On Women's Basketball. To start off with the Chicago Skies free agency trade moves, they have added Rebecca Allen. They have added Kia Nurse, re-signed Michaela Onyenwere, and I think that's all they've done so far.
Extended a qualifying offer to Nina
Qualifying.
Milic, but did not
And they've
sign.
traded Dana Evans for 2 second-round picks.
And Beck Allen. Did you say Beck Allen?
Yeah, Beck Allen, 160 one-year deal.
Traded for the rights to Nicolina Milic and Lindsay Allen. So, yeah, it's an interesting free agency for a team that's on the rise. They have their young core that they want to build around Angel Reese and Kamil Cardoso, who both had pretty exceptional rookie seasons. So what they want to do there is add, shooting, defensive versatility on the perimeter, and Kia Nurse and Rebecca Allen are what they hope to get there is that kind of shooting and help spacing the floor, because they really had like a third of a shooter for the second half of the season last year after they traded Marina Mabry, and that led to defenses just saying, okay, we will put 4 defenders in the paint. So they're trying to avoid that happening again. Sloot is keeping defenses honest on the perimeter still, and also one of the best passers in the history of the league. So that's something that's absolutely a boon to young post players.
I think their offseason is just going to come down to what they do at number 3. Seems like they plan on keeping the pick at this point. I don't know what they're going to do. We saw like Sabrina Merchant had them going Georgia Amore at 3. We've seen like Sonia Citron at 3, Tina Paopao maybe at 3. Where are you at currently on Chicago at 3, and kind of like the value of like utilizing that draft asset to the best of its abilities?
Yeah, I don't know if they're in a place to draft for fit right now.
Right.
They're not really close to real contention. They're contending for like the 8 seed, but I think if I'm Jeff Pagliocca and running this team, I'm going for the best player available. If that's a center, then sure, you can throw Dominique Malonga in there, see what happens. If it's Kiki Iriafen on your board, why not? You can just kind of throw things together at this point. Just get as much talent as you can, and if you have to make a consolidation trade at some point later down the line, I think that is absolutely reasonable. But to me, it's about getting as much talent as you can in the door right now.
And if they don't want to take Dom or Iria Finn just because of fit, maybe they trade back.
Yeah, I think that depending on a couple of draft decisions, 2 through 5, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they traded back. The issue is going to be finding someone who wants to trade up.
Yeah, it would have to be Golden State. I think it would
Golden
have
State,
to be.
maybe Dallas or Washington, but
And I think Golden State could be interesting just because they have a lot of different like role players that can shoot and do
yeah.
stuff like that. If you are Chicago, you move back a couple
Mhm.
spots, get Citron, get Amore. I just think drafting Amore at 3 would be too much for.
Yeah.
If she was 5'9", okay. If she was 5'9", I'm like, okay, we're all in there. But because she is 5'6", 5'5.5", and the upside play is just not good enough there. If I'm Chicago at number 3, also for Las Vegas, we are seeing some major roster changes on their side. Tiffany Hayes was protected in the expansion draft just to go to Golden State anyways.
Yeah.
Weird situation, allocation of resources there. Also have lost Alysha Clark going over back to Seattle. This roster is going to look different on the bench side. They have signed Queen Egbo back. They have Dana Evans for 2 second-round picks, which I think is probably too much.
Good business for Chicago to pull that off. You couldn't trade her at the deadline, but you managed to get real assets back in the offseason. That's a win for Chicago. Good business.
And Tiffany Mitchell, it was reported that she had interest from Seattle as well, going to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Their bench is going to look very different. Is it a good bench? It's...
Becky was probably already going to play 6 in the postseason anyway.
Yeah.
So if you can just find somebody to, sop up 8 to 14 minutes a game in the regular season, that's something you can definitely work on. If you're running out, we're looking at probably bench lineups of Cheyenne Parker-Tyus, Liz Kitley, Tiffany Mitchell.
Cheyenne's going to be starting for this team.
Right, but I think, to me, in terms of staggering, I think it's probably better to get her out there with bench lineups. Let her cook against other teams' second units. And as long as you have, one of Jewel Lloyd, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young out there, I think those bench lineups can stay afloat. It's going to be interesting to see how deep their rotation goes in the regular season, because they've never been a team that wants to play a bunch of players off the bench, and now they're even less deep than they were last season. So who knows?
Yeah, it's difficult because I think their major issue has been over the last 3-4 years is they haven't had any hits in the draft. New
It's hard
GM,
when you're
obviously.
drafting, 11th, 18th, and 22nd.
It's difficult, but also I feel like they're gonna have to find somebody because we're at a situation now where they have 3 seconds next year in this next draft. They probably don't have enough cap space to go out and roster those players. So take some shots in the international market. They traded.
I believe her Hoop Stats Richard Cohen said that the math on the deal that they're giving Tiffany Mitchell actually lines up exactly so that they can roster the 13th pick and Elizabeth Kitley and run with 12. So
yeah, one of those players, which there's some interesting wings that could be available around 13. I just think they need a young core. They need to build up some cost-controlled players. It's difficult going out and try to sign players every single season. So we'll see where they go there. Also,
it's a little tough to think, man, what do they need in the draft this year? Maybe a young wing who can shoot and kind of defend. Oh, that like Kate Martin, maybe that'd be helpful for this team. Just stand in the corner, shoot threes, and play some defense. But they let Kate Martin go to the Valkyries in the expansion draft, which is tough. It's tough.
Especially considering they did not even keep the player they were protecting there.
Maybe having a GM is important, actually.
Yeah, maybe it is important there. There's Bree Hall could be interesting for them.
Oh yeah.
Even a Zaya James, just scoring.
Come off the bench and get buckets.
There's players here they could use point guard play because I don't think Dana Evans is a point guard really.
Yeah,
more of a scoring focused pull-up shooting guard that can get into some floaters. Tiffany Mitchell also, we saw Minnesota try to play her with the one, just not really a point guard.
It worked for 3 preseason games.
So we'll see where they go there. They have some options in the second round. Maybe they can use a couple second-round picks to move up in the draft. They need young players, so we'll see what they can do in that spot. So let's get to our first ad break, come back and talk about the Connecticut Sun and some other signings across the WNBA this offseason. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP experience, receiving a 3% IRR match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%, plus you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investment involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for $1 from your first match. Must keep funds in IRA accounts for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost to get started. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. All right, to kick off segment 2, let's shift over to what Connecticut has done this offseason. Obviously, talked about it last episode. They have acquired Natasha Cloud. Seems like she is staying. There was reports that they received a trade offer for, what was it, number 7 from New York, plus a 2026 first-round pick for Cloud.
Yeah.
And they declined it, which I don't understand. That's a pretty good offer there.
Yeah.
They have Marina Mabrey, who is requesting out. They signed Tina Charles, Diamond DeShields, and your Nebraska legend is also on the team now. 2-year deal.
Wrong, Yvonne. The Husker legend is Yvonne Turner. This is Yvonne Anderson.
That's difficult. That's tough. Yvonne Anderson.
Yeah. And Robin Parks and Maya Hollingshead coming in for training camp deals. Which, they've both been in the WNBA before. Robin Parks had some flashes in Chicago as like a kind of a pull-up scorer or microwave off the bench. Could be interesting for a team that needs anything.
And they will also now have Leïla Lacan.
Yeah.
So Lacan, if you aren't familiar, she's 20 years old now, playing in the French league. She's been really, really good. Struggled to start the year with the new team, but over the last couple of months, she's been putting up like 20-point performances, averaging like 15 points per game on good efficiency, making threes, great defensive lead, can guard, pretty much like 1 through 3. Very young, connection there with the French national team. New head coach is from France. Where do you envision this situation going with Connecticut? Do you think they're trying to win? Do you think they are trying to trade off on these players? Because it seems kind of odd the way they're going with this roster.
Yeah, I think they're trying to win. Is it going to work? I don't know. I think a lot of that hinges on after Eurobasket qualifiers finish, Emma Mieseman's taking meetings around the league. If they can get Emma Mieseman to sign, and then they're playing lineups with, Emma Mieseman, Tina Charles, Natasha Cloud, and 2 other WNBA caliber players, if they can get like real players back in a trade for Marina Mabrey, I can see this team ending in like 6 or 7 seed and making the playoffs. They're not real contenders, but if they want to make the playoffs, I think that is within reach for this team.
And the reason they would do that is just because they don't have their own pick.
Yeah.
They don't have the own rights to where the pick will be because of the Mabrey trade. Where Mabrey goes,
J.C. Sheldon. J.C. Sheldon's on this roster. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I think they have some young pieces. They'll have the 8th pick this year. Build out with Lacan, Sheldon, 0-0. Draft a wing. Go whoever best player available at number 8. Anissa Morrow could make sense. I think Anissa Morrow is going to be on this team. I think it makes a lot of sense for them to have her. So I think Connecticut is in a weird spot for this year. They'll have more control next year for the future. Seems like 2027 is their best spot to get a franchise-changing star with Juju, Hannah, Michaela.
Maddie Booker. There's 4 or 5 really, really good players in that 27 class.
Yeah, that's definitely their opportunity window, I would say, to go out and add someone that could be a franchise changer.
Yeah.
Other signings is we have Chennise Swain, 2023 second round pick by the LA Sparks. Swain's a bucket getter, someone we were high on pre-draft. She's been overseas playing in Australia the last 2 seasons. I'm pretty sure she was injured last year, like for the first half of the season, came back. But this year, she's been one of the best players in that entire league.
She's getting threes up. Yeah, she's taking a ton of threes. She's making a pretty solid amount of them, too. I think she's taking somewhere in the range of 9 threes a game in the WNBL this season.
167 attempts in 17 games, whatever that comes out to.
Yeah, that's like
35%.
9.8 threes per game. Hilarious. Which, you pair that, a pull-up three-point shooting threat, who also is a pretty solid passer and has shown flashes as a downhill playmaker and a driver. It's something that you can put with like De'Erica Hamby, Rickea Jackson, Cam Brink when she gets healthy again, and you can get real results out of that. If you're getting to a place where you have to put 2 on the ball in pick and roll against her, and you're getting De'Erica Hamby short roll opportunities, that is just absolutely devastating for defenses to have to deal with. So yeah, I really like Chennise Swain. She's young, she's very athletic, she's a scorer, and has shown growth as a playmaker. Getting her own team this year, moving away from being teammates with Jade Melbourne, who is maybe the best point guard in Australia. But Chennise Swain with the Sydney Flames has been very good this year, averaging almost 19 points and 4 assists per game, both of which are top 5 in the WNBL. Still young and very, very talented. This is a fun signing for Los Angeles if she can put it together in the WNBA.
And I think her learning from KP, like skill set wise, talk about KP's scoring, like being able to work off the ball, learn some stuff there. Because a lot of what she's doing right now is on the ball. Like you see the turnover marks, like over 4 turnovers per game. Dim down the role into more of like a bench shot creator. I think that makes a lot of sense for LA as they move forward with this retooling rebuild. So let's get to our final ad break, then talk about Janelle Salaün signing with the Golden State Valkyries, one of the very best players in Europe this season. Looking for tickets to your next big event, whether it's a concert, a comedy show, or a sports game, finding the right ticket at the right price can be a headache, but with Game Time Picks, it's never been easier. Let me tell you how it works. With Game Time Picks, the app does all the work for you. It curates the best deals so you don't have to waste your time searching through endless ticket listings. The curated deals make it super simple to find great tickets at a great price. No more looking through thousands of options. You can grab a seat and use the seat view feature. It is a game changer. Before you even hit buy, you can see exactly where your seat will be for the event in the venue. It's so assuring. And the best part, you're covered with Game Time lowest price guaranteed. If you find a better deal somewhere else, you'll be refunded 110% of the difference. Plus, your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time with easy cancellation options. If something comes up, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Finally, to talk about one of the bigger offseason signings in Janelle Salaün. Salaün is 23, 24 years old. She's not much older than like Rickea Jackson, some players in last year's draft. She may be younger than like Sedona Prince and Zay Green. So she's very young, plays in Italy now, makes it easier, not playing in the French league. Plays for the French national team. Great shot creator, 6'3" in the mid-range. She can make some threes on spot ups. She's a multi-positional defender. She's got great size, very strong, can rebound. This makes a ton of sense for Golden State. I talked about it a couple months ago. I think this was one of my favorite signings, possibilities this offseason. Where are you at currently on Salaün and how she can fit for this team?
Yeah, I think it's a super fun signing. Janelle Salaün, only 3 months older than Cameron Brink.
Yeah.
So that's the age range we're looking at there. Uh, she's a very fun and uh, her length makes her really switchable defensively. She can kind of hang like 2 through 5. Um, and if you put that on a team with players that are already in Golden State, her shot creation, her ability to play off the ball, put that with Julie Van Loo, fun times. Uh, Van Loo's going to find you wherever you are. I think Salon is a very fun fit with a team that is looking for someone to take up usage. Because if you just kind of give her the ball and let her go to work, there's a lot of fun things that can happen there.
And what I like most about this signing is, like you said, she's around Cameron Brink's age. She's not much older. Like she might be around Georgia Amoor's age. So you're
Yeah,
getting like a lottery caliber prospect
yeah,
for free, pretty much on a rookie scale deal, which is great value for Golden State. We'll see what happens as far as their plans with the Eurobasket. I'm sure they have some idea there, just because half of their roster is international. They have Van Loo, they have Sisu from Italy, Salaun, Rupert. So we'll see what they do as far as having eligible players in June
they
when that
also
is that year.
signed Chloe Bibby and Kiara Linkson, who Kiara Linkson probably also going to be playing in
Right,
Eurobasket.
right. Chloe Bibby's shooting 45+% on crazy volume. I think in Spain this year. So
Yeah, yeah. There's some other fun international signings that have been announced recently. Holly Winterburn, British point guard who's playing in Turkey this season, was announced to sign with the Atlanta Dream. She's a super fun player. She played one season at Oregon uh, with Sabrina Ionescu in 2019 and was the best passer in the British Basketball League last season before the private equity firm and investment company that bought her team, the London Lions, just blew it up and lost all their money and all their good players left right after they won a European title. So she's in Turkey now. Um, a really, really fun passer. This jump shot is not necessarily uh, her strength, but she can get downhill. She's got great size at the point guard position, and she's like an absurdly talented passer of the basketball. Um, I think that could be a fun fit as like a backup point guard in Atlanta
and she has a real chance to make this roster. Like we
for
talked
sure.
about it before with Haley Jones, just hasn't improved
Yeah,
kind of at all
yeah,
since really her junior year at Stanford. She's been the same player, finishing struggles in the half court,
hmm
threes around 21% this year in Australia, doesn't really separate, not really a point guard. So I think
yeah,
Holly has a real shot to crack this roster and is currently the only other guard they have signed, I think, as their
yeah,
backup point guard option.
yeah.
So,
A couple others. Phoenix announced signings of two former Big East players, Anna McElrath and Lexi Held. Lexi Held played at DePaul for 4 seasons, put up pretty solid numbers, and she is scoring in Europe. Uh, I do not know if she will make the roster. I think Anna McElrath might have a better chance of making that roster. She played 2 seasons at the University of Connecticut with Crystal Dangerfield, and then with Paige Beckers and Aubrey Griffin 2019-2020. She played 2 seasons. She averaged over 3 assists per game as a freshman at UConn. Um, and she's putting up really solid, similar numbers. Lexi Held plays for PEX in Hungary now, and Anna McElrath is also, I think, somewhere around there. But she's been solid in Europe. I think that she could have a chance to make this Phoenix roster because they need people who can dribble and pass, especially if
they
Diana
need
doesn't come
basketball
back.
players.
Yeah, if you can dribble the basketball, if you can throw an entry pass, and you can stand in the corner and get out of AT's way, you have a chance to make this roster.
Well, they have like the funniest roster currently, they have 4 players on protected contracts, 1 player unprotected in Sammy Whitcomb. Then everybody else is training camp. You have,
Yeah.
like you said, you still have Atwell, Natasha Mack, Celeste Taylor, Sev Uzin. So really
Yeah.
ton of spots. They have a starting 5 and everybody else.
Yeah, a starting 5 that is 3 all-league players and then some
Kalani
other people.
Brown.
Yeah. Very, very strange.
They are going all in on stars.
Yeah,
Shocking from Matt Ishbia.
if you have Kalia Copper, Satu Sabali, and Alyssa Thomas, you can hang with anybody.
I believe every single team has made some type of move besides Washington. I am curious what
Yeah.
they're going to do. The only announcement they've had, I believe, was that Shug Sutton was coming back on a training camp
Emily
deal.
Angsler, yeah.
Angsler.
Sutton, Emily Angsler. They also extended a qualifying offer to Betty Hattar, but no signing there from the 6'10" center that they have played before. But Angsler and Sutton coming back, yeah, they have not made any other moves, so I don't know what to do with that. Sydney Johnson coming over from the Chicago Sky to coach that team. Jamila Weidman, her first GM job, hasn't really done much so far.
I thought they might trade. Maybe they still do trade some of the veterans. They're only on 1-year deals. Might as well get some value there, but we'll see what
If
they
you-
do.
If you're Vegas, do you try to fight to get Brittany Sykes in the room?
What do they give up?
Yeah, that is the question. But
Because they don't have any pick. They have like no picks.
Slim can for sure help a good team,
Yeah.
and if she just kind of
'Cause-
withers away in Washington for another season, well, they're rebuilding, to put it kindly. It's gonna be tough to watch.
Maybe if they traded their 2027 first rounder from Vegas, that's kind of the only pick I think they have.
Yeah,
First round pick.
yeah. I am a little bit confused and a little intrigued to see what Washington does. It's not like they have like a ton of options in free agency because they're pretty openly rebuilding now.
Yeah.
They got a new administration in. A lot of the better players are just going to look at them and say, why would I go play for you guys when I could play for Phoenix or Vegas or LA or Seattle? So they're in a tough spot.
Yeah, there's just so many teams that could use like a Steph Dolson, just
Yeah,
as like a pick
true.
and pop big. Even like Arrow Atkins as just a plug and play guard.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Try to get
We'll see what
first-round
happens
picks
there.
back for those players.
Get some picks. Have a whole roster of 23-year-olds and just rock.
Yeah. That sounds awesome, honestly.
So anyways, thanks for my Locked On Basketball, your first listen every day. Join the team next week for continued coverage of women's basketball. Make your second listen Locked On Sports Today, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.